Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Random Pets LaBARKatory Challenge! And today we are once again putting on our snow boots and our mittens, my friends, because we are still experimenting with Arctic animals to celebrate the release of the Arctic DLC in Planet Zoo, which by now you guys should know is one of my all-time favorite games, because where else could we really slip into a world of being able to be side by side with some of the most amazing animals that we share our planet with, and be able to watch as they eat, breathe, live, and poop out their normal lives, and to take care of them and learn so much about them. So basically, I love Planet Zoo and I love The Sims 4, and with their powers combined, today we are going to be following the story of Amelia, a polar bear, as polar bears are another one of the animals that have been added in to the DLC pack of Planet Zoo. And they are very, very iconic as one of the icons of climate change, since by now you guys will really know how the melting ice caps have put their populations quite at risk and have actually sliced their numbers a lot. But we won't talk about those things today, other than to note that that is where poor Amelia has her tragic backstory, that of course shall play a role in weaving a love story between her and Oakley, a reindeer who once upon a time actually did help to pull sleds around, so he has quite the adventurous spirit and tends to trot a little bit further away from the rest of the reindeer herd than the others. But yes guys, we have a beautiful reindeer who we are going to be working with, and as usual the custom content, including the adorable harness, are from Kalino. So if you're always looking for ways to add in more animal stuff like I am, definitely check out Kalino's stuff. By now you should definitely know that, because she has been behind so many of the amazing custom content pieces that have made our animals really come to life. And she is also behind these really awesome horns. I mean, look at those! Look at those! Oakley, you've got such an amazing set of antlers on your head. What the heck? And I should say antlers instead of horns. One of the big differences between antlers and horns is that antlers are actually parts that will grow back year after year, and the reindeer and other deer species will actually drop their antlers. So, you know, at one point of the year, Oakley might look majestic like this, and then at another point of the year, he may not have any antlers on. And I'm not sure exactly how that works for reindeer, but I know it's true for definitely deer. I think it's true for moose, but I feel like that would be too hard to grow like a whole, I mean, have you guys seen a moose antler? Kalino even made a moose antler. Can you imagine trying to grow that honkin' thing back? I don't know if that's true for moose, so definitely double check the details on that. There's also this moose antler too, which is really cool. Oh, but Oakley himself happens to have these very handsome antlers on right now, and we're actually going to see if his children might be possibly inheriting those when we start mixing his genes with Amelia's here. And Amelia has wandered so far from the ices that she once called her home. She no longer is searching for the seals that she eats, but is trying her best to adapt to whatever she finds. She's a little bit smaller than your average polar bear and has a little bit more of an adaptable personality, which may serve her very well as the vanguard of an entirely new species, especially when she bumps into Oakley, who is full of all sorts of prickly antler bits, so, you know, her first impulse to eat him is thwarted by the fact that he's got all of these amazing antlers on. Plus, he has a really kind personality. He remembers hauling all sorts of people around and on his sled, dealing with animals of all different types and traveling far and wide. So when he manages to meet his very first polar bear, Amelia, he doesn't react with the fear that you think he should. Instead, he reacts with a completely, terrible adaptation of being curious, which as a prey animal is going to get you killed. But thankfully for Oakley, their story is going to end in a little bit more interest than that. I think actually Amelia loves being pulled around on the sled that Oakley likes to pull. Because how relaxing would that be to just be able to not have to walk so far? So we're gonna go with that story. Amelia one day catches Oakley as he trots about just carrying an empty sled, because he likes to do that from time to time if he's got nothing to haul. And at first, Amelia thought about eating him, but he's too pokey. And then she too grew curious with that wonderful adaptation to try to adapt to her environment about what the sled was doing. And then she discovered the joys of relaxing on the sled. And finally, Oakley had someone to follow him about on all of his journeys and be, his friend and accompany him no matter where he wanted to wander. And thus, their story was born. So there we go, guys. I didn't expect Amelia to be kind of lazy, but that makes sense. If she ever ends up having any crossbreed babies, she is going to hibernate for several months the way that a female polar bear will do before having her young. But enough of those real life facts. Let's take things onto simming science and begin the crossbreeding. All right, let's do this, guys. I don't even know what we're going to have, but there's a chance that these babies will inherit Oakley's horns or his hooves. And just think of how cute this will be. We might end up with like a little sled pulled by a bunch of tiny itty bitty little bears. How ridiculously cute would that be? But alright guys, as usual, if you would like to become one of these crossbreeds, all you need to do is leave a comment down below. Oh my gosh, that one's so cute! Okay, I'm gonna keep some of the unnatural, or some of the unexpected color crosses that we have here. Because look at this! It's like we have a little tiger! We have a little brindle tiger bear cub. That is so freaking cute. Alright, you guys. There we go. And like I said, leave a comment. The random comment generator may pick you, and then you too could become a reindeer polar bear baby, which I'm sure is something that all of you have aspired to do in your lives. But this is going to be Ishana. So welcome, Ishana. I am so glad that you enjoy these adventures, and I'm so excited that you have come to be one of our little crossbreeds. And you are actually a hairy, friendly, energetic little one who probably loves pulling a sled. So I'm really excited to see what you're going to look like when you grow up. All right, and then let's go ahead and get the next baby born. I imagine that they're both very excited, and Oakley is super excited to have more things to pull on his sled, and super excited. All right. I think I could see us getting away with this. I could see this being a crossbreed between the two. But I could imagine that Oakley's also thinking as Amelia gets bigger, it'd be nice to have some help pulling the sled. So hopefully Evelyn, little Evelyn, another one of their daughters, will be able to help them out. And Evelyn, I am so glad you guys really enjoy the dragon crossbreeds. My goodness. If you could leave some more suggestions on what we could crossbreed with a dragon, I will definitely make it happen. But Evelyn, you are an active hunter who is friendly, which sounds freaking adorable. And then let's go ahead and see. I'm really intrigued by these crosses because we're getting colors I didn't expect. Like, oh, demon eyes! Okay, I could see this being one of their crossbreeds. It matches the colors that they have. And this is going to be Lila. Lila, welcome! And I think a Doberman and an Arctic wolf would be pretty amazing. Maybe we should definitely do some more wolf puppies. Maybe we should do some wolf puppies with some of our sled dogs from Dog Sled Saga again. That would be really fun. But Lila, you are an independent, friendly, and vocal little one who, I don't know, reindeer are kind of vocal. That'd be interesting. I think we've got a whole bunch of good mixes so far. All right, and then let's go ahead and see. You look like your dad! Oh, you guys, this is Isabel from Isabel Nickelberry. There we go. And I'm really glad that you enjoyed, like all of you really enjoyed the dragon crossbreed, so keep the ideas coming. But Isabel, you are a glutton who is friendly and independent, so you sound like both of your parents just there, and it's going to be fun to see if you're going to grow up to be a bear who just wants to like lay on the sled, or if you're going to grow up to be a reindeer who's going to be able to pull everything, everything along. I never thought that I would ever create like a sled dog team made up of polar bear reindeer hybrids. And this is where curiosity can take you, my friends. This is where. Oh, look, we have another one, little Alexis. Wow, it's been all girls actually, which is pretty interesting. I have changed the gender, but that's just to match the names that pull up for the random generator. But Alexis, you are friendly, vocal, and a couch potato. So even though you look like your dad, I could totally see how you would want to end up riding in the sled. And then let's go ahead and add in one more. And the very last baby is going to be like a little polar bear. We did end up with a little polar bear. And this one's name is going to be Ronwin, which is actually a name suggested from Jennifer, which means fair. So, oh, I love her. She's got little floppy ears. Is she gonna have floppy ears when she grows up? Because that will be too freaking precious. And look at her eyes. Maybe she was born under the aurora borealis and some of those colors just sunk into her eyes. That's so pretty. Maybe she sees the world a little bit more shiny than the rest of her siblings, who seem to mostly just want to trot along in a little herd with their dad. But Ronwin, you are a couch potato who's independent and a glutton. Sounds like one of the little bears who wants to ride in the sled for sure. But alright guys, so from Oakley, who's now just so proud to be able to trot around with his little sled and pull the babies along, and from Amelia, who is adapting to life wherever she can find an edge to be able to survive in, we have such cute little babies. I'm really glad we ended up with a bit of a variety to the color, without going so far that it was like unbelievable, because I could see these guys being the colors that you would expect from a brown reindeer and a white polar bear. So let's go ahead. And by the way, did you guys know that polar bears aren't actually like white? Their fur is actually transparent or like translucent, something like that. And then it's the light that we see reflecting off of their fur that gives them that startling white coloration, which I thought was really, really cool. But all right, Ishana, I have the dice of destiny in my hand, and we're gonna see if you're going to inherit the horns, the hooves, or the harness, and we'll let the harness decide whether or not she is going to be helping to pull things along, or if she is going to be focusing on or if she's going to be focusing on laying in the sled. So Ishana, the dice of destiny have spoken, and you whoa, look at you, Ishana, this is awesome. I love her coloration. And you guys, Ishana has decided that she's not going to grow up with the horns. She's not going to grow up with the hooves. And she is not going to wear the harness. So our beautiful tiger brindle bear Ishana is actually going to be hanging out in the sled with her mom, which makes me really hopeful that poor Oakley will have more of his children being able to help pull the sled. So let's go ahead and roll the dice of destiny once more, and we will see what Evelyn shall do. Evelyn! Okay. Evelyn really looks kind of like... Oh gosh, I don't even know. She kind of looks like a dog who fell into like some water or something, or like got super fluffed with some sort of hair dryer. This is pretty funny. So I think this is what her mom's like polar bear fur looks like if you put it on a reindeer body. And speaking of reindeer body, Evelyn has decided not to grow horns, not to have hooves, but she has accepted the harness. So thankfully Evelyn will be helping to pull along the harness. So at least we've got a couple of the kids helping out, like one kid so far, helping out with pulling the sled. So there you go, Evelyn. Let's go ahead and see what Lila with the demon eyes is going to grow up into. And Lila, you... What happened to your ears, Lila? Why are they that far down your head, Lila? Oh, I love it when we get some unexpected mixes. But Lila actually, oh my gosh, Lila, I love this. And I love her teeny tiny little paws. That is so much fun. She kind of reminds me of those gremlins. Oh my gosh, she reminds me of gremlins. That's adorable. I mean, not many people would say that, but my sister really loved the gremlins growing up. So I've always thought they were a little cute for her sake. But alright, so Lila has actually not got the horns. She has not got the harness, so she wants to lay down in the back too. But she does have the hooves. So she is going to inherit some teeny tiny little trotty pieces of hooves, and possibly a desire to eat a bunch of the caribou moss that grows around the place. And speaking of caribou moss, let's go ahead and see what Isabel, once I roll the dice of destiny, is going to grow up into being. Isabel? Isabel! She's a massive moose! She's a massive moose who is actually, of course, part reindeer. And Isabel actually is probably going to be quite the hunter like her mother, looking a little bit like a grizzly bear here, because she is not going to be going after the horns or the hooves, but she will help to pull the harness. So I'm really glad we have the harness on so that we have at least like 2 out of, it's about half and half right now. We've at least got 3 members of the family pulling getting a much heavier sled, which I'm super grateful for. So Isabel, wow, I love it. I wonder if we're gonna have any of the kids end up inheriting the horns. So far we haven't had any luck with that, but let's go ahead and grow up Alexis. Alexis, look at the size of you! Holy cow! Okay, I would be a little intimidated seeing Alexis come like anywhere near me, especially because just as I said it, you guys, we do have the horns. So those are the moose antlers. Okay, there we go. Here are the horns that Isabel has inherited, and she has decided she does not want to pull the sled. She prefers to be just riding on the sled, but she will have the hooves, and I actually think that she's majestic. Like, this is the kind of reindeer that you would not want to mess with. And then finally, let's go ahead and grow up little Ronwin, our only itty bitty little bear. And little Ronwin, how did your ears do that? How did your legs do that? I don't even know how this happened, but there we go, guys. This is Ronwin, and even though she is not going to have the antlers, and even though she is not going to have the hooves, she has decided that she too will help to pull the harness. So at least half the family is pulling their weight, no pun intended, and half the family is relaxing in the sled. And we do actually have a little polar bear pulling the sled, which I think is something extra special. But alright guys, this definitely went places I didn't expect, because I had no idea when we started this we would have a cute little family of bears pulling a sled in my imagination. But there we have it. And I also did not expect the ears or the look or having a little tiger like brindle mix between a polar bear and a reindeer. But I love all of it, and I hope you have enjoyed the experiments as well. If you guys could, do please leave a like for our little dog team, I suppose. Can we enter them in a dog team? Because that'd be kind of hilarious. And if you would like to join us on this and literally thousands more adventures, do please consider subscribing. But most importantly, my friends, stay curious. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.